So I'm doing a response video here on Britt Gillette. Um, he's a guy that's written some books and some stuff, and he's kind of a professional end times guy. He makes a living off of this, despite the fact that he may not look like he does, since he does his videos from his closet. I'm gonna do a response video here because he's typical of these guys nowadays. Every day or so, Britt puts out a new video where he proclaims all of the bad news and all the bad stuff that's coming and all the bad things that are going on in the world. And, one thing you got to understand that this entire Rapture hobby and Rapture idolatry, thing that's going on the internet and mostly on YouTube and Facebook, it is rooted in a couple of key elements. The first one is fear. These people are scared to death. They do not like what they see in the news. They are afraid for the future. And that's okay. I mean, I often get afraid myself. I'm not saying I'm never afraid and I'm a better person than they are, but it's a fact. They're afraid. Second of all, they're unhappy. They're dissatisfied with life. They just want to leave Earth. Keep this in mind. There are a lot of people in this movement who are just desperate to leave Earth and get out of their troubles and leave them behind and go to heaven, without dying, of course. They're wanting an escape from present reality. Make no mistake, this rapture concept has nothing to do with escaping a 7-year future tribulation. This rapture concept has to do with escaping right now. They want out now. They don't like life now. They're scared. All right? So Britt is scared, or he has latched onto a nice-sized audience who is scared. And so he spends, this video, 15 minutes, talking about how terrible everything is happening in Europe and how, hey, here we go, the energy crisis in Europe. It's getting really bad. It's getting cold in Europe, and they're starting to tell people you got to stop using so much gas, and pretty soon, they're going to have to shut down or regulate how much gas people are using, and that will effectively shut down business, which is going to hurt their economy, which means people aren't going to have jobs. They're going to be thrown out of work. Then they're going to go to the government and get upset and want a handout, so the government will print money, which will cause worse inflation, which is going to cause a ripple effect, which is right. So he's telling all this stuff for 15 minutes. I can't argue with much of that. I mean, it's very possible that could happen. By the way, Britt didn't come up with this on his own, okay? Britt's not that smart. He's a marketing communications guy at a company somewhere, all right, in Virginia. And he's, he makes a living off of that and makes another living off of selling some books on this hobby of his, all right? I only say that to say, because I'm not an expert either. I'm just saying he's not a global policy expert. He doesn't do this for a living. He read the news and he came up with that on his own, okay? Let's just face it. These guys are not really that brilliant. So he comes up with all this stuff. He talks about it on his channel to get attention and money. And he works the fear of people. And he tells them, this is all coming to, oh my goodness, it's all coming to pass. Look at this. But always with the promise that, but don't worry, we're out of here. We're out of here. This is good news.
We are heading into, I believe, a global depression. It's coming. Exactly when, the timing, I'm not sure. I think it's this year. And I think Europe is ground zero. I think there's global problems. There's problems financially in China.
You ever notice how blithely people say stuff like this from their closet yet? Yeah, we're heading for a depression. Global depression. I don't know. Coming any second. All right, guys. Well, when I'm done doing my video, I guess I'll upload it, and then I'll just go see what the wife has for dinner. I mean, it's like, it just never ceases to amaze me how these liars talk to the people who want to be lied to, because they're all scared and they're all unhappy and they all want to escape. I mean, it's
United States,
so
Europe,
blatant.
Canada, Australia, all over the place. This can't be escaped. Eventually, the bill comes due. And as we saw in these previous articles, this is all causing these European businesses to have to shut down. And so people are going to be laid off. And if it was hard to pay electricity bills before, if it was hard to pay those utility bills and food bills before, How hard is it going to be when most people's source of income dries up? It's going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And the politicians, in fear of their jobs, are going to start handing out cash.
See, Britt just wants to show off to you how insightful he is about how he's able to predict the future based on present, trends and whatnot. And he might be right. But like, to him, this is like all just in good sport because it's not going to happen to him. It's going to happen to Europe first, right? And then a global meltdown and whatnot. But Britt says he's out of here before all that happens.
Left and right. And that's only going to make the problem worse. It's going to lead to eventually hyperinflation on the other side of this deflationary depression that we're heading into. And that is going to create massive chaos, social unrest, and instability. And I believe, again, Europe is going to be ground zero for all of this. So what does that mean? Well, the Bible tells us that a revived form of the Roman Empire.
What does this all mean? Does this mean we have to do anything? Does this mean we have to prepare? Does this mean we have to even be worried about it? I mean, I know you're all worried, but the Bible says this is all supposed to happen. So here comes this little soothing promise, right?
The last days empire that conquers the entire globe, Daniel says, devours the entire earth. And so, pointing to the people who conquered the temple, as we read in Daniel 9, that would state that Italy and the Roman Empire, we look at geographically where that was, it was this area where we're seeing ground zero for this energy crisis. So this sets the stage for a leader, a strong leader, to be the people demand that strong leader come to power and fix this crisis.
All right, so just want to make a couple of points once again. So basically, really bad news out there, guys. I'm scared. You're scared. We're all scared. We all want to get out of here. We all hate our lives, or we just aren't happy, so we want to get out of here. I know that. Hey, check this exciting news out. Things are getting really bad in Europe. That means the end is near and we're out of here. So don't worry, we're out of here. See, that's always the story. And Britt, I'm sorry to have to say this, sir, but I don't care if you believe you're not going to be here. You're still going to be here. You can sit there and sit in your closet and innocently say all these things. You had better get used to the idea that there might be something really bad, like you're describing. It might happen, Britt, and you are right here to have to endure it. And the question is, can you? Are you ready for it? I'm not talking about financially even. I'm just talking about spiritually, mentally, emotionally, somewhat physically ready. Because people, here's a headline for you, Britt. People have gone through much worse than this in the past. Much worse. We've had depression in America. Do you recall that from your, high school history days? Remember that? Did any of those people get raptured, Britt? Life was pretty tough in Europe after World War I. Did anyone get raptured, Britt? Or did it just get worse? And then it got better, by the way. Did Japan escape World War II without a nuclear bomb being dropped on them? No? Really? They didn't? So why do you think you're guaranteed escape out of this, Britt? So that's my first point. My second point is this nonsense about they're going to be set up for a one world leader and cry out for a one world leader to come and fix this problem. I know this is the narrative that these people tell. It's not in the Bible. There is nothing in Revelation. Go read Revelation. It talks about the beast rising out of the sea. It's an empire, clearly, because it has 7 heads and it's multiple animals and whatever. But regardless, it doesn't describe in Revelation 13 that any of the people of the world cry out for that leader to come, that beast leader to come and fix problems. No. The beast is described as a military superpower that just crushes its enemies. There's nobody crying out for anybody. So he makes all that up. He makes it sound like it's in the Bible when it's not. So you tell this narrative over and over and over again to people, they just start accepting it. Oh yeah, that's in the Bible somewhere. Yeah, sure. I believe you because you keep saying it. But furthermore, the present reality, I've lived 52 years, all right? I have never seen a single society that got into serious trouble with its finances and slid into deep recession or terrible food crisis or hyperinflation. Like hyperinflation means tens of thousands of percent inflation. All right, that's what hyperinflation is. Or real financial trouble. Take Greece, when Greece went broke. Whatever. I've never seen anyone in any of those countries or any of those situations stand up and demand one leader to get them out of the trouble. That's never what happens. They go kill their present leaders. they rise up and riot over their present leadership. They demand change. They might form a coup and take over the government and kick the leader out. Whatever. There's many scenarios that have happened in life and in history. Never once has a group of people stood up and demanded, we want one person to come and fix this. It's a completely ridiculous and laughable scenario that would ever happen. And again, if it was in the Bible, I would just be like, well, it's in the Bible. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but God's word says it's going to happen. It's not. God's word does not say that. Go check it out. But here again, I'm just going to tell you, you guys can have all the doom and gloom you want, and you can watch it on YouTube and pretend that you're going to escape it. You better get ready. You may not escape it. We might have some bad things coming. You're not going anywhere. You better get ready.